tenants were in business.
He said, we're buying the local motel.
But was their house a hotel too?
They listed themselves, another party.
His ex-wife moved in.
All rise for Judge Joe Brown. Whoa! Experience, knowledge, and a passion for the truth.
I'm protecting womanhood and promoting manhood.
Bringing no-nonsense justice to Americans everywhere.
If you listen, you may learn something.
It's time for Judge Joe.
Some tenants on their way to becoming motel owners say they took their business as they exited a lease. Plaintiffs Robert and Virginia Taylor suing their former tenants for rent. Defendants Brian McDermott and Rivka Blair say they paid what they owed. Now it's Joe time.
Mr. and Mrs. Taylor, would appear that you're suing Mr. McDermott and girlfriend Miss Blair. You say they owe for back rentals and for consequential damages for breaking the lease. The two defendants collectively allege that they were allowed out of the lease, and you accuse his wife of paying the party behind the lawsuit, whatever that means. Well, since they're husband and wife, I imagine they have a joint interest in this matter.
I guess I am, in a way, the person behind the lawsuit. In September of 09...
You wives are often behind what husbands do. You know, you give us advisement. You got a license to give us unlimited advisement.
29
and we
years.
give guidance.
29 years, he thinks I may know a little what I'm talking about.
Okay.
In September of 09, my husband had been in contact, or been contacted by Mr. McDermott about renting a house that we actually had for sale. And we met with them to rent the very nice home, as you can see. It's a nice 4-bedroom house. They reviewed the house, thought that they might want to rent it. They said they were unable to buy it at the time because they need to sell their house they were currently in, but that they would be willing to sign a 12-month lease. So we agreed to let them rent it, which we found out to be they're kind of odd, because...
Yes, let's see. The defendant, Mr. McDermott, was there with his girlfriend, Miss Blair, and his ex-wife moved in to take care of all of the children. So you thought that was a little strange.
Yes, Judge Brown, we did.
I would say that's a little strange, too.
That's not true.
We were given...
Yeah, that's not true.
When we actually gave them the list and asked them to list who all would be residing in the home, they listed themselves, another party, that she lived with them and took care of the children, and everything was fine till towards the end of March, and okay, that's when I let Robert be involved.
Yes, that's where it was very late in the end of March. They'd never paid March's rent. He come and asked me, he said, we're buying the local motel. Wanted to know.
Yes, I found that interesting. That's why they moved out, because they bought a local motel.
We did not buy the hotel, Judge Joe Brown.
You'll certainly notice it as you drive by.
So I told him, we could try to work something out. I had never had no problems with the people, and that's where we went from there. He made a payment of $300 that day. A few weeks later, he paid another $300. The next few weeks later, come up again. He was to pay again. He said he didn't have the money, and I went down and I said, we're going to have the full amount by the end of the week, or I'm going to have to sue you for the remainder of the whole lease. He said, sue me.
So you're suing them for the remainder of the lease?
Yes, sir.
Since they did not pay you the $1,200. You received, according to your accounting, $600 of that.
You're right.
Two $300 payments.
That's not true, Judge Joe Brown. We paid them $1,400, actually.
That is incorrect, because he gave me the $300 on her paydays.
We made 4 payments of $300
and
to you
then
personally.
every other payday she was supposed to
4
pay.
payments of $300.
Yes, I
what
did.
for?
I took it out of my paycheck.
Why?
They
to
wanted
equal
us...
$1,200.
Well,
And I only owed him.
Plus, I
when
gave
did you
him an
move
extra.
out?
We moved out around the 10th of April.
Okay.
Judge Brown, what
Now,
actually...
you were supposed to pay him $1,200.
The deal that we made with Mr. Taylor was that we were going to pay for March and April, where we were behind for March,
now,
which is what I did.
You say, Mr.
And our rent was only $500 a month.
You say that your co-defendant, Ms. Blair, paid him a total of $1,200.
Yes, sir. It was her money, but I actually handed it to him myself.
Judge Joe Brown, in actuality, at the end of March, they had not paid March's rent at all. And according to the lease, were to pay $2 a day late fee after the 5th of the month. April the 19th.
You never gave us a copy of our
April
lease.
the 19th.
Wait a minute, wait. What do you mean you never got a copy of it?
She said when we signed, the day that we signed our lease and paid the deposit, we would get a copy of it tomorrow because she couldn't get to a copy machine. We never received it.
And the next day they were given a copy of the lease.
Even if I don't even consider any late fees, which I may or may not consider, you didn't read the written lease when you signed it?
My wife did, I guess.
You guess.
I didn't. I was speaking with Mr. Taylor.
Your ex-wife.
No, Rivka.
She's not your wife.
We've been together for 10 years.
10 years, continuously cohabitating.
Yes, sir.
And Judge Joe Brown, what happened was...
That's interesting. That would have made her a minor.
She was 18 in 2000 when we got together.
Yes, I was 18.
10 years, you said. That makes her 17.
I'm 28.
27 minus 10, 17. I'm looking at her the date of birth.
She's 28.
I'll be 29 this year.
20. Well, then why did you give us 27?
We say we've been together for 10 years because it's almost been 10 years.
Almost been. Well, even still.
Judge Joe Brown, they almost fulfilled their lease.
Yes. And that's what it says on the lease. So you falsified the lease.
I'm sorry. How did we falsify the lease?
Because that's the information you provided on the lease, which you didn't. Oh, you read it. What did you read? We can go to you directly since they put on a basic case. What do you think you signed? Did you read it?
Yes, I did.
Why are we talking about you don't understand the basics of a lease?
I understand that, but Brian spoke to Mr. Taylor, and Mr. Taylor told us that if we paid him the $1,200...
Well, they say you didn't pay $1,200, you paid $600.
We paid $1,400.
Now, when did you pay it?
I paid him every payday, which is every 2 weeks.
Every payday is how often?
Every
2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks. And how many payments did you make?
I made 4.
When did you make the first payment?
I don't have an exact date.
What do you mean you don't have an exact date? That's your whole defense. What approximate date? After you moved out, you're in the hotel?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
We'll be right back with Judge Joe Brown.
Why is it that you're so often parked out in front of this place waiting for packages?
Because she steals our mail.
Why is your mail still going there?
I have had the property since December. The business belongs to us.
And later today...
Now, when did you discover that it was inoperative and the steering had gone out?
All of a sudden, I get a call on February 1st of 2010 saying I have a cracked head, which I replied, you have a cracked head, and it all started from there.
A cracked cylinder. Mm-hmm. Not true.
It's Joe time after this.
We are back with Judge Joe Brown. The plaintiffs say in this case their former tenants owe months of back rent. They claim the defendants skipped out to run a motel. Let's take a look.
You owe for the entire month of April, and you owe for the entire month of May, so you've already been obligated for that. Why should they let you out of the remaining, how many months of this on the lease?
They don't even own the house anymore.
Why should they let you out 6 months on the lease and 2 months you're already charged with being in there, you didn't pay for $1,200? That's what they're
Actually, my husband had agreed with them after Mr. McDermott had advised him that they'd be moving out. He came down, told me what was going on, and asked me if I would feel okay with letting them out of the lease if they paid us March's rent with the late fees as well as April's rent. Since they were moving out, because April the 9th or 10th, when he came by our house and told us he was moving out.
Well, that's what I got. And by the way, why is it that you're so often parked out in front of this place waiting for UPS or FedEx to deliver packages?
Because she steals our mail.
Why is your mail still going there?
It was a mistake with UPS. It was stuff that was being shipped. It's not my mail. It's shipped for the hotel.
How in the devil do you get a mistake with UPS?
I have had the property since December. We bought a lot of stuff prior to opening, and UPS will not deliver unless somebody's there.
You told me you didn't own it.
I don't own it. We lease it.
You lease it?
We lease the property and own the business. The business belongs to us.
So you have enough money to pay the lease. Well, you certainly have enough money to that lease. You got enough money to pay this, and I don't buy that. So you win. Your recovery is going to be $3,500 in your cost.
Thank you.
The courtroom is now in recess.
It was a rocky road from the house to the hotel. There was a broken lease and back rent in the rearview mirror. And now the defendants will face it head on as the plaintiffs win. And now we're on to the next case.